So you clicked on this video because you want to get more likes on your Instagram post. Well, hello, I'm Vanessa, and I'm very good at helping new coaches and content creators do two things: get visible and get paid. Now, when it comes to getting more likes on your post, I'm going to state the first obvious tip, and that is asking for it. I can't count the amount of times where people complain that they're not getting enough likes on their post, but when I look at their captions or when I look at the post itself, it has no indication that they're even inviting people to like it. Now, here's a list of call to action ideas that you can put in your caption or in the post itself that will invite people to actually engage with your content, whether that's double tapping if they agree or liking the post if they actually liked it. This is a really obvious tip, but it is a low-hanging fruit that a lot of people miss out on. Now, besides the obvious of explicitly asking people to like the post, what else can we do to get more engagement, specifically likes, on our posts on Instagram? Well, the second idea that I have for you is to make sure that you structure your post so that it's designed to get more engagement. What do I mean by this? Well, a rookie mistake that I used to make and that I see a lot of people still making is writing really long form captions that people literally don't get through. People don't read the whole thing. So if you want to increase engagement on that post, instead of writing a long caption that people might not read, make sure you do something like this, where it's a carousel piece of content so that people can actually sift through the information. When I do this, I actually get more likes on my post. Now, if you want to take it a step further, if you like graphic design, or if you love being in Canva, or maybe you have a social media manager on your team, take it a step further and actually make it more engaging by doing something like this. This makes it a lot more visually appealing for people to swipe through the carousel, and when they go through that information that you've given them, they're more inclined to actually like it because they've actually consumed that piece of info. This is another awesome way that's really easy for you to make sure that you get more likes on your post. And by the way, this is data driven, because when I look at my analytics, every time I do a carousel piece of content like this and I structure my post in a way that's digestible for my audience, I get way more likes and engagement than I do if I don't do this method. Now let's move on to the third tip that I have for you, and that is make sure that you understand who your ideal audience is, so that when you create content, it's almost a no-brainer for them to engage with it and for them to like it. Now, why is this important? Well, you want to make sure that you know your ideal audience to the T. You understand what their goals are, what their pain points are, what their objections are, what content they like, who else they're following besides your account. That way you can do more research and tailor create the content that's really going to speak to them. Because when people like content, it's usually because it resonates with them. So if you have no clarity whatsoever on your ideal client or your ideal audience, then you're not going to be able to make content that produces results. Now, if you have no idea where to start, this is something that I cover in my paid program, the Boss Gram Academy. But to help you out, let me throw in an example of my ideal client profile and the things that I ask myself when building this document. And that is, what other accounts are your followers also following besides yours? That way you can actually do more research on what's working for your competitors. You also want to look into their goals, their values, what actually inspires your followers, because for a lot of people, they follow accounts for inspiration. Other things that you also want to think about is challenges and pain points. Oftentimes people follow accounts, whether you watching my YouTube videos, to solve problems. What problems does your ideal audience actually face? What challenges do they go through? And how is your content going to address those pain points and challenges? When you see content that addresses the needs that you have, you are more than likely to like that piece of content, save that piece of content, or even comment and engage in that piece of content as well. Finally, as a bonus tip, when it comes to developing this ideal client profile so that you have clarity on what type of content to create, especially if you are someone who is selling a product, you also want to think about what type of objections or hesitations do your followers have when it comes to buying your product. You also want to bake that into your content as well. Now, if you want to take things further when it comes to content creation that actually generates you sales, I highly recommend that you check out my free training at www.followerstoclients.com. This is a 90-minute training which covers even more information when it comes to content that converts, and also other trainings that I have for you, such as building your social media sales funnel, understanding your niche, and so much more. So make sure you click the link in the description box below to access this free training. Now, aside from having a clear understanding of your ideal client, your ideal audience, your ideal follower, doesn't matter what it is, what else can you do to make sure that you get more likes on your post? Well, make sure that you actually give visibility to that post, whether that's within Instagram or outside of Instagram. Here are some ideas that I have for you when it comes to increasing the visibility on your posts. The first obvious one is make sure that whenever you post a piece of content that you reshare it to your stories so that people can see that you've actually posted that piece of content. The second idea that I have for you is make sure that you leverage and you optimize your IG guides. This is a relatively newer feature that not a lot of people are actually using, but I found it to be super helpful when it comes to getting more visibility on my post. When someone clicks on my IG guides, I've organized all my posts to the top themes that I have or the top topics that I cover on my Instagram. And that way it's basically like a directory to my top posts. And because I'm giving more visibility to those posts, naturally I'm gonna get more engagement. Now, the third idea that I have for you when it comes to getting more visibility on your posts is making sure that you reshare that recent post later on in the week as well. Something that a lot of people already do is sharing their posts on Instagram stories the moment that they post it. But that's about it. How about you actually remind your followers of that post maybe 2 days later or 3 days later so that it still keeps it fresh? Because the truth is that even though you repost your content to your stories the day that you post it, not everyone is looking at your stories. And sometimes people might need a reminder of the awesome content that you've posted, or maybe they haven't even seen it and they weren't even aware that you posted that piece of content. So make sure that it's top of mind by reminding yourself to reshare that piece of content later on in that same week. Now, on the topic of gaining more visibility to your posts, what else can you do beyond just resharing it to Instagram stories? Because that's what a lot of people do anyways. Well, here are some other ideas for you. If you want to increase the reach on your post and therefore increase the likelihood of the amount of likes that you get on that particular post, you want to make sure that you also reshare that piece of content on other platforms as well to truly magnify the amount of reach that you're getting. So for example, if I am posting something on Instagram, that same week, I might do a weekly newsletter where I embed that post so that even my email list is aware of this piece of content. Or maybe I'll also reshare it to Facebook so that people on Facebook can see that piece of content, or even I might link it to Pinterest and allow Pinterest to do its work and make sure that I also get maximum visibility on that post. There are a lot of other ideas and areas that you can reshare content in, such as even me in this video highlighting the fact that this piece of content exists on my Instagram also helps. There are different ways that you can maximize that visibility because, like I said, more reach equals more likelihood of people seeing your content, enjoying it, and then liking it. Now guys, here's one thing that I definitely want to mention, and that is you can have as many likes as you want. You can use these tips, get a bunch of likes, but if these likes aren't translating into actual sales and money in your bank account, then you definitely want to reevaluate your business strategy and your social media strategy overall. So if you want to monetize your content, go from likes to sales, make sure you visit my free training at www.followerstoclients.com. This is absolutely free and I dive into more strategies that's gonna help you monetize your content. I post videos on entrepreneurship, marketing, and social media every single week. So if you want more of me and you want more content, make sure you visit these 2 videos that I have here as well. I promise they will not disappoint. As always, guys, I appreciate you and I'll see you in the next video.